There are many songs that are about the different feelings of love. Howard Jones, What is Love? The Beatles, All You Need Is Love. Squeeze, Is This Love? Meatloaf, I do anything for love, but I won't do that. Nazareth, Love Hurts. Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. And Jay Giles Band with Love Stinks. And that's just to name a few. And speaking of love, we have a very special guest with us today. From MTN Matchmaking, we have Maureen Tara Nelson joining us from Myrtle Beach, I believe it is. Correct, Maureen?
Yep. Today, next week I'll be back, Long Island.
Hey, welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us here on Music in My Shoes. And we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about love, things to do with Valentine's Day coming up, and who better than an executive matchmaker like yourself? So I know you've been doing it for over 20 years. And
Yes.
for those who aren't really familiar with a matchmaker, real quick, talk about it a little bit.
Oh, well, when if someone's single and
That
they,
is the
what,
key. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want that to be the key for everybody.
yes,
You have
because
to be single.
people do call up and, they try to hide it. And then there's always that question, wait a minute, are you single? And no, I'm married. Oh, so yes, you have to be single. And when you should try all avenues when you're single. But if you try all avenues and they don't work, that's when you think, all right, I need a professional who knows about compatibility and will do a screening process and give me the exposure to other single people. So that's what matchmakers are, and that's what they do every day.
So I know that you've won Best of Long Island for a number of years, which is something to definitely be proud of. I know that you also reach out into New York City, but I believe now you're
Mhm.
doing it nationally. And just,
Yes.
a couple of words about that. How do you do it nationally?
Well, I'm an executive level certified matchmaker, and I have the ability to work with my colleagues that are also certified matchmakers wherever they live. So a lot of times people would say to me, could you match my cousin? But she lives in California. Now I knew I could, but for whatever reason, I just wanted to always be the best on Long Island, and that's it. And then when I hit 20 years of my own business, I said, I really should go national. Hence, my kids, I got them off on their own, successful. I sold the house on Azalea Road, which I still have dreams about and miss every day. And I'm a snowbird now. So I opened up a office here in Myrtle Beach because it's a place I always loved when I was younger. And I have a condo here and a place with my brother in Hicksville. So I go back and forth. But I can do virtual interviews with people, and it doesn't matter where they live because I'm working with all my colleagues in their areas.
Technology has changed a lot. So to be
Yeah.
transparent to our
Yes.
listeners out there, I met Maureen on the first day of ninth grade uh, a few years ago, right, Maureen? Just a few
Yep.
years ago. And
So,
speaking of love,
yes.
I believe that you were in love with Meatloaf.
Yes.
Meatloaf the
Love me so
singer,
much.
not Meatloaf the
Yes.
meal. Just to
Yes.
put it out
Yes.
there for everybody.
Ugh.
So talk about, we talked about Meatloaf back on episode 3 of Music in My Shoes. We talked about Bat Out of Hell album. So tell us, a little bit about, your infatuation with Meatloaf and let the listeners know what it's all about.
I just, from the moment I first heard him, I just loved his voice. And then I just loved the presence that he always would give at concerts. And he always caught a lot of slack from
Hmm.
other people and people in the industry. And I don't think he ever really got that credit that he deserved for putting on such a great show and always giving 100% regardless of whatever. So I kind of loved his ethics too, but there was just something magnetizing about him that I fell in love with, and I always loved him. And when he passed away, that was a Friday when we had a Friday Facebook Live, and I was doing it with my brother, and I was crying during the whole thing because I was so sad about Meatloaf.
I
But
think that was about 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah.
I think it was about
So
two.
yeah, he just something about him was just perfect. Whereas people would say he's not good looking. Well, yeah, he is.
Well, again, he'd do anything for love, but he won't do that. So,
Yes.
what are your favorite songs by Meatloaf?
Well, that one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anyone else felt the same way. In the beginning, I was thinking, oh, well, what? What won't he do? What won't he do? And then to find out, oh, it's cheating. Okay, that's great. And, because it's kind of ambiguous too, the way he says it.
So I know that you like Cher as well. You
Yes.
know, we had some messages going back and forth. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I love rock and
Yes.
roll. Uh,
All 80s music, 80s girl.
Queen, We Will Rock You, Under
Yep.
Pressure, Brian Adams, The Police. I looked at your playlist and it definitely takes you back into the 1980s. And it's good. I'm so excited by the Pointer Sisters, which I do like that song. I will
Yes.
be honest with you. Um,
Mhm.
so again, we have Maureen Tara Nelson with us, and she's with MTN Matchmaking, and we really appreciate you coming on the show and joining us,
Of
giving some
course.
tips out for our listeners. And we just wanted to give out your website, mtnmatchmaking.com. And
Yep.
again, it is nationally. And
Mhm.
so if you're looking for love and you want to connect with a matchmaker, MTN Matchmaking is the place for you to go.
Thank
So,
you.
hey, we really appreciate it, Maureen. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Great. Great.
And
Yeah.
keep the matchmaking going and keep the music going.
I will. Okay.
All right.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Bye.